Muy buenos días a todo el mundo. Soy Ana, la profesora de español. Okay, in this video, I will share the unit outline with you, important information about assessment and unit contact hours in this summer unit. So I'm Anna Gatt and I'm going to be coordinating the unit. For anything about the course, please come to me. You're always very welcome to send me an email, make an appointment even, come here in the office and discuss what you want to discuss. I'm happy to help in any way, shape or form I possibly can. So this summer I will be teaching alongside other tutors. You'll find all the names, email addresses and offices in the unit outline, which is on your LMS. Now your unit outline is the Bible to the course, so for anything about the course you go there. And then when it comes to the assessment, I usually share what I call information sheets. They're like pieces of, usually they're Word files really, where every single information about a certain assessment is included. So, I don't know, the listening test opens at 9, finishes at 5, it consists of this many questions, and so on. So before you send us an email, maybe check that would be great. You can find the information sheets under assessment information, which is in bold letters on LMS, so that it's a bit easier for you guys to find. If there's anything that we haven't included, I'm always just a quick email away. Alright, so now when it comes to the contact hours this summer, it's a little bit different than semester hours. So you have to think that every week in the summer corresponds to 3 weeks during semester, which is why we're calling summer weeks modules. We have a module 1, module 2, module 3 and module 4. Each module is equivalent to 3 weeks, so in module 1 we'll be doing what we normally do in semester in weeks 1, 2 and 3. Module 2, 4, 5 and 6 and so on. This should be relatively clear, but it's better to refer to weeks as modules during the summer to avoid confusion. The mornings should be dedicated to watching the YouTube grammar lectures, watching the theory first, doing the activities, then watching the practice videos. If you want to, you can even do all of the exercises in your book, Competencia Gramatical A2, so A2 this time, just in preparation for the assessment. It's vital, as usual, that you go to the afternoon tutorials having watched the lecture. It's simply not possible to follow the tutorial without watching the YouTube lecture. Some weeks, for example, the weeks that we introduce the imperfecto, which is one of the tenses, the past tenses, if you haven't watched the lecture, you get to the tutorial and we start by asking you what you used to do when you were little. So you're completely oblivious to what happens in the class. You waste your own time, you waste your friends' time, your classmates' time. So please, please, please don't do that. So mornings dedicate them to the YouTube grammar lectures. Afternoon, you'll have your language tutorials. Tutorial times are shown on CAS, and I don't have a lot of control over the timetabling system. But I have asked for 3 different days, usually Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, to have a tutorial from 2 p.m. To 4 p.m. So during the first module, your Tuesday tutorial will be the equivalent of week 1, your Wednesday tutorial will be the equivalent of week 2, and your Thursday tutorial will be the equivalent of week 3. So in the morning you should watch Grammar Lecture 1, Grammar Lecture 2, Grammar Lecture week 3. When it comes to the culture lectures, you should watch again during the first module, weeks 1, 2 and 3, during the second module, 4, 5 and 6, and so on. The culture lectures are a little bit independent in this course. They are filmed, just like the grammar lectures, and you are given a lot of activities. You should try and do as many of the activities as you possibly can because they are similar to the culture test, and so they're there to prepare you. So make sure you watch the culture lectures weekly, and I would suggest keeping the Monday, for example, for the culture lectures. On Monday you could watch weeks 1, 2 and 3, do the activities, there are some translations, some tests, and then on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, morning for the YouTube grammar lecture and afternoon for the tutorials. So a lot of these hours are online hours. And so you are a bit independent when it comes to this, but I trust you. I like to empower my students to really take responsibility for their own study. And I like to think that, you know, you can even like have your phone out and watch the lectures on your phone and make notes. I hope you don't do it in public because that would be pretty embarrassing. I don't really love to listen to myself. But yeah, I like to think that we've given you a little bit more flexibility and mobility to the course, but I do give you a lot of the responsibility. So please make sure you're always on par with the program. Now, when it comes to the assessment of the unit, this is fairly similar to what happened in 141. You have a few different tests that are online. And if you grab your unit outline, you will know exactly in which module you'll be tested. But for example, you have a listening comprehension that's on LMS and will appear under assessment. And it has an information sheet with all of the information under assessment information in bold for you on LMS so that you can find it. And that's worth 15% of your final. There's a role play. That's worth 20% of your final, similar to the one you had in 141. There's a culture test that's worth 10%, and there's a grammar test that's worth 15%. On top of that, this summer we're going to test your reading and writing in a project where you have to write on social media, you have to write a comment at the end of each module. And that's worth quite a lot because it basically is the equivalent of an exam. That's worth 40% of your final. As for the books, this summer we'll be using 21, Libro del Alumno. So that's the book that we've used in 141, just the second half instead of the first half. So nothing to buy there for you. I was a poor student not too long ago, and so I thought I would give you this present of not having to buy a new book. The one thing you have to buy is Competencia Gramaticale en Uso, so the exercise book, the A2 version, okay? And this is the book that we have all of the answers for, so the suggestion there is to do as many of the exercises as you possibly can. And then other important information that we want to share with you, obviously, please try and not plagiarize because it's not in our hands. When somebody plagiarizes, we have to refer them to a committee and there are some serious consequences for plagiarism. So it's always better to get a low mark than to get a 0. And also collusion, beware of collusion, and beware of late penalization. You know, you need to maintain your deadlines, to make your deadlines, sorry. So make sure that you grab the unit outline right now and you put in your calendar, either your paper calendar or your phone, even better, alarms for when the tests are so that you know exactly when tests are. As you know, I like to empower my students by giving them responsibility for their study, so I will not send reminders for the test. It's your responsibility to make sure you are in touch with the course, and for that the LMS has so many links and materials. In fact, I think there are a little too many. There's a lot of stuff to look at, but I've divided into culture lectures, grammar lectures and tutorials so that you can follow what's happening each module and then each week. Remember, a module contains 3 weeks of normal semester. So if you have any questions about this complicated explanation about the course, please send me an email. However, I will put it in on LMS as well, both in the unit outline and then probably in I'll share a diagram with exactly how it works. I think when you see it written, it makes more sense. It's easier to understand that way. And yeah, just a little bit about my teaching philosophy behind this course. It's an intensive course. So we try to teach you more because we give you a lot of hours per week. I don't recommend I don't recommend you to do more than one course this summer. At least with the Spanish course, you cannot possibly follow more than one because between the online hours and the presence hours, you are doing quite a lot, and you should just be doing Spanish. Um, if this is not a possibility for you, you're always welcome to do Spanish 2 in semester 2, where we offer it in the normal 12-week semester modality. And yeah, I like to empower my students, take responsibility for your own study, and really grow as both a student and a human being in society. And I really think that studying languages is actually not that easy, or not as easy as people think it is. So I will require quite a bit of effort from you. I'll do my hardest, and with the other tutors, we'll do our absolute best to make sure that all of you learn as much as you can. But at the end of the day, language units, do require a bit of effort from you. I'm always happy to help and organize extra events. For example, sometimes I get tickets to movies and I share them with my students. I share a lot of cool links to learn more Spanish on UWA Spanish Studies on Facebook, and I hope you keep an eye on Facebook at all times during the semester because I'll be sharing lots of extra stuff. And yeah, if there's anything at all, please just know that I'm always one email away, and I look forward to seeing you all this summer. Adios!